जानकी राम कल्याण सुंदर राम कारुण्य जानकी राम पीतांबरधर राम भयभीति विभञ्जन राम पीतांबरधर राम भयभीति विभञ्जन राम कल्याण सुंदर राम कारुण्य जानकी राम दशावतारा राम दशमुखमर्दन राम दशावतारा राम दशमुखमर्दन राम भक्तसुधामा राम प्रियंकर राम भक्त सुधामा राम भक्त प्रियंकर राम कारुण्य जानकी राम कारुण्य जानकी राम कल्याण सुंदर राम कारुण्य जानकी राम पीतांबरधर राम भयभीति विभञ्जन राम दशावतारा राम दशमुखमर्दन राम भक्तसुधामा राम भक्तप्रियंकर राम कारुण्य जानकी राम कारुण्य जानकी राम कल्याण सुंदर राम कारुण्य जानकी राम कारुण्य जानकी राम
सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं विदुःसुरासुरगणा तस्मै Let us chant up to verse number 8. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Ath Dvadashodhyayah Bhakti Yogaha Arjuna Uvacha Evam Satata Yuktaye Bhaktāstvam paryupāsate Ye chāpyaksharam-avyaktam Tesham ke yoga vittamaha Shri Bhagavānu vāca Maya veshyamano ye mam Nityayukta upāsate Shraddhaya parayopetaha Te me yuktatama Ye tvaksharamanirdeshyam Avyaktam paryupāsate Sarvatra gamachintyam ca Kūtasthamachalam dhruvam Sanniyam yendriyagramam Sarvatra samabuddhayah Te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutahite rataha kleshodhikatarastesham avyaktasaktachetasam avyaktahi gatir dukkham dehavadbhiravapyate ye tu sarvani karmani Mai sanyasya matparaha Mam dhyayanta upāsate Teshamaham samudharta Mrityu samsāra sāgarāt Mayyeva mana ādhatsva Mayi buddhim niveshaya Nivasishyasi mayyeva Ata urdhvam na samshayah. In the 12th chapter, Bhagavan elaborates the various stages of sadhana to be practiced. So here Bhagavan is giving 5 stages. So he starts from the highest, and the highest is called Nirguna Nirakara Dhyana. So what is to be done in this? Here you have to use Vedantic approach. What is Vedantic approach? In Vedanta, we divide the entire world into 2. One is consciousness, other is matter. So what is matter? Anything made of 5 elements is matter. What are the 5 elements? Space, air, fire, water, earth. 5 elements. So it is called as Prakriti. And other than these 5 elements, there is one thing, that is pure consciousness, and it is called as Purushaha. So Purushaha Prakriti. Sometimes it is called, consciousness is called Brahman, Prakriti is called Maya. There are all various terms used, but it's all the same thing. Consciousness is sometimes called Atma, Prakriti is called Anatma, matter is called Anatma. Sometimes consciousness is called Kshetrajnaha and matter is called Kshetraha. Sometimes consciousness is called Prana. In Prashnopanishad it is called Prana and matter is called Rayi. Sometimes consciousness is called Drik or Drashta and matter is called Drishya. So they are all various terms, but it means one and the same. So in Vedanta we have one is Nitya, the other is Anitya, real and unreal. So matter, which is made of 5 elements, which is something to be observed, which is something to be witnessed, is considered something other than us. So in Vedantic meditation, we keep this Prakriti away from Purusha. So in Vedanta it is said, you are Purusha, you are not Prakriti. So what are you supposed to do? Identifying oneself with Purusha. Purusha here means consciousness. So identifying oneself with consciousness, and anything other than consciousness, you have to, in meditation, see it as an observed thing. So what all comes under matter? The world comes under matter. So therefore you have to keep this world as an observed thing. It is easy. Then comes the next stage, body. Body also comes under matter because it is nourished by matter. So keep the body also as an observed thing. What about mind? Mind also comes under matter because mind is nourished by food. So therefore the thoughts are also kept aside. So now in this thoughts there are 2 types. What are the 2 types of thought? This thought and I thought. Idam vritti and aham vritti. So this thought also it kept as an observed thing. Now what is left? Aham vritti is left. I thought. So this I thought also, this ahankara also is kept as an object. It is witnessed. That thought also is witnessed, and then what happens? The moment this I thought is witnessed, the I thought dies down. The pure I, which is pure consciousness, shines forth. This is the highest meditation. This is called as Nirguna Nirakara Dhyana. Since it is a straightforward method, no imagination is used. So for this is called Dhyana or Jnana Yoga, direct. So what is the process of gaining this knowledge? The process of gaining this knowledge is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyāsanam. First you have to listen to the teacher about this teaching. So when you listen, naturally what comes? Doubt comes. So the teaching says that you are pure consciousness, which is infinite, which is immortal. You are Satchit Anand. Now the moment you listen to this, naturally doubts arise. So these doubts have to be clarified. So this is done through manana. Manana means reflection. So using the logic given by the scriptures, you clear all your doubts. Then what has to be done? Doubts are cleared, but still I am not experiencing the truth. I am not living the truth. So therefore, the third one is called Nididhyāsana. Nididhyāsana means digesting the knowledge so that it becomes your wisdom. Digesting the knowledge means the knowledge is not merely at the intellectual level, you start living that knowledge. So when you start living that knowledge, it becomes wisdom. Shravanena ajnana nivrittihi, mananena samshaya nivrittihi, nididhyāsanena vasana nivrittihi. Shravanena ajnana nivrittihi. You had a wrong notion about yourself. That wrong notion, there is a possibility of that wrong notion to get what you call dissolved. Mananena samshaya nivrittihi. Through reflection, you remove all your doubts. And Nididhyāsanena vasana nivrittihi. Habitual error. For so many years you have lived like a jiva, as a limited jiva. So therefore that momentum will be there even though you have understood everything. Now the effort is to again and again reassert yourself that I am pure Brahman, pure consciousness. This effort to remove the habitual error is called Nididhyāsana. So this is what we do in the first stage or the highest stage, Nirguna Nirakara Dhyana. So in this, what is the qualification required? The qualification is the student must have a very good command or control over the mind. Because here there is no support involved. You can't even take the support of your mind. You have to witness the mind. You can only take the support of witnessing consciousness. And since the witnessing consciousness is the subtlest of everything, so therefore to hold on to this subtle thing needs tremendous amount of purity. So when you don't have this purity, so Bhagavan says, Arjuna, then don't worry, go to the next level, number 4. So what is that sadhana? That sadhana is called SAGUNA Nirakara Upāsana. This is called as Upāsana. So what is done here in this Upāsana? You consider God not just pure consciousness, but you consider God as the creator of this world. You consider God as your creator. So in the earlier sadhana, the world is considered to be an illusion, the self alone is considered to be real. Here you don't say world is illusion, you use the world as a means to progress, as a means to purify yourself, your mind. So here, what is the definition of God? Here you define God as Abhinna-nimitta-upādāna-kāranam. What does it mean? Abhinna-nimitta-upādāna-kāranam. For anything to be created, there has to be a creator and there has to be the material to create. Isn't it? So the creator is called Nimitta-kāranam. The material to create, that material is called Upādāna-kāranam. For example, if the pot has to be created, there has to be mud to create pot. So that mud is called Upādāna-kāranam. There has to be a potter, an intelligent cause to create the pot. So that intelligent cause, that efficient cause is called Nimitta-kāranam. Extend in this example, who has created this world? And how did he create? With what material did he create? The question may come. So we say Bhagavan himself is the material for this creation. Bhagavan himself is the creator of this creation. So therefore we say Upādāna-kāranam is also Bhagavan. Material cause also is Bhagavan. Nimitta-kāranam also is Bhagavan. So Nimitta-kāranam and Upādāna-kāranam both are Bhagavan. So we say Abhinna-nimitta-upādāna-kārana. Abhinna means not different. So therefore scripture gives an example because it appears to be impossible. Someone is creating something and the material also he himself. So what is the example given? In the Upanishad the example given is Yathorna nabhi srijate grinhate cha. Just like a spider creates web out of the thread bringing out of its own womb. So from where has that thread come from? From the spider. Who has created the web? The spider himself has created. So this is the example given. Sometimes the example given is that of a dream. From where has the dream come from? Where did the dream world get the material from? It got it from my own mind. Who created the dream world? My own mind created the dream world. So again you will find such examples given in the Upanishads. So in this level 4 meditation, Saguna Nirakara meditation, Upāsana or Vishwarupa Ishvara Upāsana, What does this meditator consider God as? God is considered as the creator of this world. He is considered as creator of myself also. So now he has created this world with a purpose. So in every situation, in every incident, there is a purpose behind. And the purpose is to make me evolve, to help me evolve, to help me reach him. Just like any father would like his son to become equal to him, at least, or even greater than him, isn't it? Any father will have that dream that my son should grow up, he should get educated, and ultimately he should take care of my entire business empire. He should take my seat. In the same way, the Lord also has this desire that each and every child of his, each and every creation must someday or the other reach him. So he is more anxious for us to reach him than we are anxious to reach him. So therefore, every incident the seeker considers as a message from God. There is some message from God which will help him evolve. So therefore, every incident, every situation, he sees the hidden hand of God. That is how he analyzes. For him, nothing happens out of accident. There is a purpose behind everything. Now he tries to find out that purpose. So what does he do? After the end of the day, at the seat of meditation, maybe in the evening or in the morning, he sits. And what does he do? He just goes through all those things that has happened in that particular day. And there will be some incidents which would have created some strong impression in his mind, either good or bad. So he brings that particular incident and tries to decode the message which that incident has brought in. Because that message comes in a coded form. It is a very subtle thing, because Bhagavan is speaking and his voice is very, 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 very subtle. So in order to decode that message, he will bring that situation and he will just go through like a flashback, what all he has done, how he has reacted to that situation. As a child of God, how he should have reacted. So many things might have happened. Someone would have spoken harshly, and he would have reacted in the same harsh tone. So he would just bring that incident and he will try to find out whether I have reacted in the right way in which Bhagavan wanted me to do. So whenever he brings that incident, now remember, he is sitting at the seat of meditation, so naturally his mind is at the sattvic level. And remember, whenever your mind is at the sattvic level, you are in tune with God. Whenever your mind is in rajasic or tamasic level, you are not in tune with God, so you will always be tempted to do something wrong, something against his wish. So now what does the seeker do? He brings that incident, and when he finds that the way in which he has reacted to that situation is something wrong, it is something against his wish, he sincerely apologizes and tries to correct himself. There can be so many incidences where he might have done something wrong. He knew that it was wrong, but in that moment, the heat of the moment, he has done something wrong. So what happens is, when our reactions are wrong, when our reactions to a situation is either rajasic or tamasic, it creates a kind of what you call a stain in our conscience. So this seeker looks within and tries to remove that stain by apologizing. In Christianity there is a word, what is called? Confession, that's right, confession. This is the process. The moment you confess, oh Lord, please forgive me, this place I got tempted and I have done wrong. So therefore, I seek your forgiveness. I will see to it that I will not repeat it. I will see to it that I remain your good child. So always this is the attempt of the seeker. No situation he he considers it as what he called a situation without lesson. There may be moments when you get into arguments. And what happens in arguments? In the beginning it starts as a discussion where knowledge is given importance. The moment it gets into argument, there the ego becomes important. I want to win. So this seeker, this Vishwarupa Ishvara Upasaka has got a very subtle mind, because of which he is able to detect this changeover, where the priority changes from knowledge to ego. He is able to detect it very fast. How is he able to detect it fast? Because he regularly meditates, because he regularly watches his mind. Whoever keeps an eye on the mind will be able to detect these changes very fast. A gross person will not be able to detect these things. For example, he gets into an argument. This argument normally ends up in street fight. Have you seen? First the discussion is for knowledge, then it becomes ego, then it becomes argument, then it becomes heated argument, then it becomes beated argument. Ultimately the end result is beating. Now what has happened? That development, both the parties are not able to detect. So what happens in this seeker? He is able to detect. The moment this arguments becomes little heated up, he is able to detect it, and therefore he is able to pull back. So many advantages are there. These are all subtle advantages of meditation. So therefore he is able to keep a very good relationship with everyone, because of his control over the mind, because of his watching the mind. Any disturbance of the mind, he immediately considers it as a message from God. Any disturbance. It can be disturbance due to anger, it can be disturbance due to jealousy, it can be disturbance due to desire or greed. Whatever be the kind of disturbance, he immediately makes a note that this disturbance is an indication that God is not happy with me. Any disturbance of the mind is a very clear indication. It's a voice from God. So he will never try to escape this disturbance by being extrovert. This is what we all do. We try to escape from life. How do we escape from life? Whenever we are disturbed, we don't know why this disturbance is. We go for a movie, or we enter into some friend's house, chit-chat, and somehow we try to become extrovert so that this pain in the heart is not experienced. Only when you are introvert, you will feel the pain. You will feel the disturbance. So what is the technique adopted? Instead of being introvert, they try to become extrovert, try to engage themselves in something or the other, and thus try to escape from this pain. You are escaping from this pain, meaning you are escaping from God and His guidance. So now all this happenings within is a great treasure of knowledge, provided you know how to decode the message. There is a message, but it is in a coded form. So in the initial stages, you will find it difficult to understand what is happening. But if you go deep, you will find that subtle voice of God trying to guide you. But suppose you are finding it difficult. Now this needs extreme subtle, what you call extreme sensitivity, extreme attention on your part to observe this mind, which is difficult. So therefore, if this sadhana is difficult for you, then Bhagavan gives the next sadhana, which is level number 3. What is that sadhana? Let us see the next verse. Verse number 9. Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mayi sthiram abhyasa Abhyasa yogena tataha Mamichhāptum dhananjaya Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mayi sthiram Abhyasa yogena tataha Mamichhāptum dhananjaya. Yes. So the earlier instruction given was Mayyeva mana adhatsva, my buddhim niveshaya. Give your love, respect and reverence for me. Be tuned to me. That was the message given. As Supreme Lord, as Sarvashaktiman, as Sarvajnaha, Sarvavyapi, that Supreme Lord, with all respect and reverence turn towards me. Listen to me. But if that is difficult, considering God as all-pervading, etc., which is difficult, no doubt, if you find that every situation, every incident in life is God-sent, if you don't have that sensitivity, then do this. What has to be done? Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi. Atha chittam mai sthiram samadhatum na shaknoshi. If you find it difficult to fix your mind and intellect in me firmly, if you find it difficult, what you are supposed to do? Abhyasa yogena tataha mam aptum ichha. Do Abhyasa Yoga. What is this Abhyasa Yoga? Now here comes what is called as the Mūrti-pūjā or idol worship. So you are not able to conceive a God who is infinite. That concept is very abstract. You are finding it difficult to grasp it. So therefore, if that is difficult, then make or fix your attention upon the form of the Lord. Which form? Whichever you love. That is the most important thing. It can be Rama, it can be Krishna, it can be Hanuman, it can be Jesus, it can be Allah, whatever. But what is the point? You must love him. An idol. Use an idol to fix your mind. This is called Abhyasa. So here what do we do? So you have an idol, you have an ISHTA DEVATＡ. So this sadhana is also called as SAGUNA SÀKΑRA UPÀSANA. Sākara means with akar, with form. SAGUNA SÀKARA UPASANA or ISHTA DEVATＡ UPASANA. ISHTA DEVATA. Hold on to one ISHTA DEVATA. So there is a form, there is a mantra to be chanted. So what are you supposed to do? So we have one Purāna for each ISHTA DEVATA. Like for Shiva we have Shiva Purāna. For Vishnu we have Vishnu Purāna or Bhagavata Purāna. Isn't it? Ganesha Purāna, Devi Purāna. We have a lot of Puranas. Why so many Puranas are given? So many Puranas are given so that you will get enough material to meditate upon your ISHTA DEVATA. So how much of material you need? Number one, you need to know what is his form. How does he look like? So that description is given in the Puranas. Like in Bhagavata Purāna, the description is given of who is Vishnu. Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. Yes. So all those forms are given. His kirita, how his face is, how his eyes are, how he looks like, what is the color of his skin, what kind of dress he wears, what kind of mala he wears. All these are material for meditation. It is necessary. Because otherwise how will you meditate? You can't meditate on an abstract concept of God. You are not yet evolved. You can't meditate upon consciousness. You are not yet evolved. So therefore, the method used is meditate upon something gross, which you already know. Meditating upon a form. So there is a beautiful form which is attractive, which is captivating. So that form is described. Then what? Then you must have a mantra to chant. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Om Namah Shivaya. There is a mantra to chant. Now there must be something to meditate upon. So therefore we have lot of līlās mentioned in the Puranas. Līlās of the Lord. So what this meditator is supposed to do, he has to bring the līlās of the Lord and he has to give the freedom for mind to wander in these līlās alone. Like for example, what you call, there are a lot of stories of Dhruva. As far as Bhagavatam is concerned, there are so many stories, like stories of Dhruva, stories of Prahlada, stories of Ambarisha. So why these stories are given? And you will find in all these stories, what is the essential message? The essential message is, devotee is in trouble, he seeks help from many other places, ultimately he doesn't get support, ultimately he totally surrenders unto God, and the moment he surrenders, help comes. This is the essential message of all the stories, isn't it? He tries to seek help from the world is helpless, ultimately he seeks support from God, from there the response is sure. This is the message in every story. So what happens when a devotee meditates upon these stories? Slowly, he develops love for God. He develops love for God. Just like how we develop love for heroes and heroines in the films. How do you develop that admiration, love for the heroes and heroines? The hero is a very nice person, very strong person, very kind, compassionate, loving, etc. So whenever you come in contact with any such person, any such character, it is a natural tendency to get attracted towards that person. And wherever you find that these virtues are absent, like a villain, there is a natural tendency to dislike that person. The same technique is adopted in Puranas also. So in Puranas you will find one main hero. It can be Shiva, Vishnu or Krishna, whoever. And all the stories are related to that hero. And all those stories are good stories. You will not find any story where hero is defeated by the villain. No, you will not find. Because then you can't meditate upon that hero. Hero should always be strong and he should always be the highest. So therefore in Shiva Purana you will find Shiva the greatest God and Vishnu, Brahmaji, etc. are at his feet. But if you read Bhagavata Purana, you will find Vishnu is the supreme God and Shiva and Brahmaji is at the feet of Vishnu. In Devi Purana, all the trinities, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, they are at the feet of Devi. Now remember, let us not fight. Let us understand the purpose of Puranas. Puranas is meant for whom? It is not meant for the highest seeker at all. It is meant for the immature seekers. Those seekers who are not able to meditate God in His highest form, Puranas are for them. So therefore you cannot compare one Purana with another. People do this. In this Purana Shiva is greatest, but in this Purana Vishnu is greater. Now how will you decide now who is greater? All stories are nonsense. Any story which tells you the comparison between two deities, understand it is only to glorify a particular ISHTA DEVATā so that your meditation becomes easier. That's all. Is that clear? This has to be understood. Otherwise you will not enjoy Purana at all. But suppose this idea is clear, then you will be able to enjoy every Purana, because in every Purana who is greater, who is the greatest? Bhagavan alone is greatest, whether he is in the form of Vishnu or he is in the form of Shiva or Rama, whatever. The one point to be understood is Bhagavan, in whichever form he is the supreme. Many times in this stage called SAGUNA SÀKÀRA UPÆSANA, there are a lot of conflicts in the society. Religious fanaticism, etc. come at this stage. In the earlier two stages, there is no fanaticism, level 5 and level 4. Why? Because God is one. God is consciousness in us. Can there be religious fanaticism there? Because the consciousness in Hindu is the same consciousness in a Muslim, it is the same consciousness in a Christian. There is no difference. There is nothing called Christian consciousness and Hindu consciousness. It is the same. Isn't it? In the second level also there is no possibility of conflict. But here, in the third level, there is a possibility of conflict because each one will have a particular Ishta Devata. The choice is given, the freedom is given. I may have one Ishta Devata, you may have another one, the other person may have another one. Let us not compare our Ishta Devatas. Many times we find people saying, this particular deity is very powerful, this temple, that deity is very powerful, so great rush. This deity is not that powerful, so no rush. They are all nonsense. Why it is nonsense? Because remember, Ishta Devata by himself or herself doesn't have any power. Power is given by you. You, through your worship, through your meditation, is giving power to that Ishta Devata. That Ishta Devata is only like a mirror which is reflecting the strength, the infinite strength, the power which is there already in you. Because who are you? You are God himself. So if at all a power has to come from, where should it come from? It should come from you yourself. So if you feel that this Ishta Devata is very powerful, what it means is you are more tuned to that Ishta Devata. That's all. Your prayer is more sincere there. Your worship is more sincere there. Your meditation is more deeper there. Therefore, you feel as though that Ishta Devata is responding to you. Don't go out to the world and say, this Ishta Devata is great, very powerful. See, I have got such and such results. Normally we do this with doctors, This doctor is very good. So there is lot of rush. In that case, it may be true. One doctor may be better than the other doctor. It may be true. But when it comes to Ishta Devata, it is 100% wrong. Is this point becoming clear? There cannot be any difference between the powers of Ishta Devata. There can be difference in the powers of your meditation. But with respect to an Ishta Devata, there cannot be. So choose your Ishta Devata. At the same time, don't be fanatical. When someone else is worshipping some other Ishta Devata, accept his worship also as true, real. Don't try to criticize them. Don't try to find fault with them. All this worship, they have a place, and therefore they are effective. Even in Hinduism itself, there are these Vaishnavites and Shaivites. They keep fighting with each other. They are all because they are all immature. They have not understood what their religion says. They have not gone into the depth. Whenever you go deep into any religion, you will find there is oneness. Go deep, every religion speaks the same thing. Ekam sat vipraha bahudha vadanti. Truth is one, but the wise people speak in different terms, different languages. So what we have to do is, instead of trying to compare and contrast, etc., try to go deep into your own religion. Once you go into your own religion, then go to other religion, you will find oneness. There is a very famous Sanskrit shloka, Subhashitam, which says that all water which falls ultimately go towards ocean. So in the same way, all teachings, they ultimately lead to one. This you will know only when you go deep into yourself. Otherwise, there is only differences. Right, now we are talking of ISHTA DEVATÀ UPASANA. So you must have lot of stories with you. You must have an idea about that ISHTA DEVATA, so that you will be able to develop a relationship with that ISHTA DEVATA. So here in Hinduism we have this Shodasha Upachara Puja. The 16-stepped puja is there. So what do we do in that puja? So in that, you first invoke the Lord. So you consider that God is coming as a guest. He is visiting you as a guest. So what do? First of all, you have to imagine that God is coming. So remember, it is upasana. Upasana means what? Everything is based on your imagination. It is upasana. So now you imagine that God has come. Asanam samarpayami. When guest comes, what is the first thing you do? Make him sit. Make him comfortable. Then you wash his feet. Arghyam samarpayami. Padyam samarpayami. You give something to drink for him. You treat him like a human being. And you do everything best for him. Now this is something you know because you have been doing it with guests, etc. So someone whom you revere, someone whom you love, now you imagine that that person has come. And now you are trying your level best to make him comfortable. Right? So then so many other things are there. Snanam samarpyami, snaniyam, you give bath, you do abhishek. Then you wipe him. Then you put chandan, kumkum, etc. Then you put clothes upon him. Then you entertain him with bhajans, etc. So what is happening is, in this process, you are spending time with that deity, ISHTA DEVATā. And wherever you spend time, that relation has to become stronger. How do you develop relationship with anyone? How do you develop relationship? By spending quality time, isn't it? That quality is important. Nowadays, father, mother, children, all of them sit in front of TV while eating. Now that is not quality time. No relationship is built thus. Quality time means you spend time with each other without any other kind of distraction. So then what happens? The relationship slowly builds up. Now you have a freedom. What kind of relationship you can maintain with God? That freedom is given to you. So you have varieties of devotees. Having varieties of relationship. Some maintain the relationship of master-servant. Oh Lord, you are the master. I am only a servant. I am your dasa. Some say, no, my Bhagavan is my mother. I am a mere child. That is also beautiful. Some say, no, Bhagavan is my husband. I am his wife. That is also fine. Any relationship is acceptable. So then what you are supposed to do? Now you have to develop that relationship. How? By invoking this particular feeling time and again. So every time you come in front of the Lord, bring in this emotion. If you feel that you are a servant, feel that you are a servant in front of the master. Then you start talking to Bhagavan with this relationship, keeping this relationship in mind. Arjuna used to speak to God, and what was the relationship? The relationship of a friend. So various kinds of relationship. So whichever you are comfortable with, develop that relationship with God. And you will find that whenever you are in trouble, you will find response according to that relationship. You will start finding response. Actually, who is responding? The very same Lord who is seated in your heart is responding through that ISHTA DEVATā. So in the beginning you may think that this ISHTA DEVATā is responding. Actually, who is responding? The Lord seated in your own heart. So it is Bhagavan's promise. Now you will find that this very same ISHTA DEVATā will slowly guide you from step 3 to step 4, step 4 to step 5 and beyond. The very same ISHTA DEVATā. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam ena mam upayantite. Those people who are worshipping me in whichever way, Bhagavan says, dadami buddhiyogam tam, I give them the supreme knowledge. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamah nashayami atma bhavastah jnana deepena bhasvata. Out of my grace, I will destroy the darkness of ignorance remaining in his heart by lighting the lamp of knowledge. This devotee doesn't know who this ISHTA DEVATā is, but Bhagavan knows, isn't it? So what does Bhagavan say? I, remaining in the heart, I light the lamp of knowledge. I guide them in the right direction. That responsibility is mine. Tesham aham samuddharta mrityu samsara sāgārāt. We had seen that. I lift them from this ocean of samsara. And this is exactly what has happened in the case of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. There are very many examples. In Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, if you read the story, so he was a meditator of Kali. So there was this temple, Kali temple, and there was a statue of Kali. So he was a pujari there, priest there. So he used to do worship. But his worship was a very unique worship. It was not a mechanical worship what we see in the normal temple. 15 minutes worship, everything is over. Not that kind of worship. He used to spend a lot of time. All those Shodashopachara Puja, etc. he would do. And he would very, 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 very lovingly he used to feed mother. And he used to feel that mother is eating. That kind of, and his puja never used to get over. So people started complaining about this pujari. 8 o'clock arati has to be done and this person is not at all there. His puja is not yet over. So he would talk to mother, he would feed mother, he would play with mother, he would play with her sari, etc. So naturally people one day, they called him and said, are you mad? Do you know who this is? It is nothing but an idol. It's a stone. You are behaving as though she is alive. Now Ramakrishna Paramahamsa became very sad. Because all of them, the whole villagers, they were telling that you are gone mad. So then one day he was so disturbed, he went to Kali and said, now today I want to see whether you are really alive or not. Because the whole village is telling that you are not, you are a mere stone. So they cannot be wrong. I am the only one who is feeling that you are alive. So today I am going to test you. So he took one piece of cotton and placed it near her nostril. And you know what happened? The cotton was moving. What does it mean? That she is breathing. And he felt such a great peace of mind. Now see that Bhagavan will never unsettle your faith. This is what you have to understand. Whatever faith you approach God, He will safeguard that faith. So he saw that the cotton was moving and all that pain, that suffering, that doubt, that anxiety, everything vanished. He told, Mother, now I am convinced that you are alive. Again his, prayer became intense. He would talk to God and she also would respond. So this kind of relationship he developed. And one day what happened? One day a person called Totapuri comes into his life. And when Totapuri was a great jnani, established in Brahman, that kind of person. When he saw Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, this boy, he asked the boy to come near and said, I find that you are fit for this highest knowledge. So I want to give you knowledge. Come. Ramakrishna said, I will go and ask my mother. If she permits, then I will come to you. So he went to Mother Kali and asked, Mother, one person has come. He is telling he will give me knowledge. Should I go or not? Then Mother said, I only have sent him. Go. So he went to Totapuri. So he said, Mother has allowed me, now you teach. So he sat. So Totapuri asked him to close his eyes. And he asked, what do you see? Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said, I see only my mother. No. Go beyond. They are all names and forms. No, you have to go beyond. He again tried his level best, but he was not able to because he was so attached to mother that he could not leave her. She was clearly seen in front. He was not able to do all this kind of nirguna nirakara upasana and all. Not possible. So then this Totapuri, he was also a very strict master. He took a piece of glass and then just struck it right in front of the eyebrow and said, now if she comes, just take a sword and cut her off. It was something which was very painful to do, but now mother herself has given this permission to go near him, isn't it? Mother herself has sent him. So therefore what does it mean? His words are mother's words. Though he did not want to cut mother, but since Totapuri was telling like this, he just took that sword and the moment she appeared, he cut her. And moment he did that, he just entered into samadhi. He entered into samadhi. He lost his body consciousness. And the moment this happened, Totapuri was stunned. He said, that which took me 40 years to master, this fellow did it in 3 days. He was stunned. Now what I am trying to say here is, look at this ISHTA DEVATā, step by step how that ISHTA DEVATā will guide you towards that supreme truth. That ISHTA DEVATā will purify all the impurities of the heart. And finally, that ISHTA DEVATā himself or herself will take you to that supreme goal. This is called Abhyasa. Abhyasa. So therefore, let us not criticize this idol worship. Let us understand the limitation and let us understand the purpose. The purpose has to be understood. Idol worship has a place, but yes, that is not the final stage. This has to be kept in mind. You must grow out of idol. Idol has to get converted into that supreme ideal. Then alone that spiritual awakening will take place. Many people get caught up in that idol only. That should not happen. It is something like child getting caught up in the womb. Then what has to be done? Cesarean has to be performed, isn't it? Womb has a purpose, but after 10 months, take out the child. Otherwise it is dangerous for both mother and the child. In the same way, don't get caught up in that idol worship itself. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was worshipping Mother Kali after enlightenment also. But now his understanding about Kali had undergone a total transformation. So now, after enlightenment, he considered Kali as one's own consciousness. To that level we have to grow. We should not get stuck somewhere. That's the whole thing. So this is done through Abhyasa. So in Abhyasa, what do? You have a form, you have the matter to contemplate upon, his what you call dress, his līlās. So what do you do when you meditate upon the ISHTA DEVATā? You don't allow the mind to go anywhere other than the topics related to ISHTA DEVATā. Now see, lot of freedom is given for the mind to roam around. So there is a story, like for example, story of Draupadi. Now there is a lot of freedom given for the mind. You imagine all those situations, how she was suffering in that assembly, how she was insulted, and how she tried to take the support from her husbands. None could help her. Bhishma Pitamaha, Dronacharya, they also were helpless. Ultimately she was trying with her strength to save herself. That also became helpless. Then what should she do? She raised her hands, Bhagwan, save me. And it was at that time Bhagwan's grace descended. Now remember all those stories. So when you remember all these stories, Leelas of the Lord, your eyes become filled with tears. Your heart is filled with emotions of love, of compassion, of reverence for that Lord. Now these are the feelings which are necessary for the heart to evolve. In spirituality, remember, your head and heart both should be fully developed. Then only you can fly, take that flight, just like the two wings of the bird. You need both the wings, isn't it? So one wing is the wing of the head, the other is the wing of the heart or mind. Both are necessary. You must have a clear understanding about the truth. At the same time, you must have heart filled with noble emotions. Then only you can glide. Let us remember, mere pranayama etc. will not take you there. Many people think that only doing breathing exercise they can reach supreme. No. Breathing exercise has got its importance. What is the importance? When you do pranayama, your mind becomes quiet. Because prana and the mind, they are related. If the breathing is slow, the mind is peaceful. If the mind is peaceful, the breathing will be slow. They are interconnected. So in the beginning, at the seat of meditation, first 5-10 minutes you start with pranayama. So when you do pranayama, your extroverted, wild mind becomes quiet to great extent. Remember, that is not the end. Now once the mind has become quiet, what are you supposed to do? Use that quietude of the mind to contemplate upon the higher. Because you can't use wild mind directly to contemplate upon the higher. It is not possible. So first, convert the wild mind into a quiet mind, and from quiet mind, you use that quiet mind for contemplation. So therefore, pranayama has got its importance, role. Not only that, pranayama makes you healthier, because all the pancha pranas of your body, they keep the body healthy. So when you do pranayama, your health improves. Each and every organ of your body becomes very active, strong. So all that advantages are there. But if you say pranayama itself is the highest, then you are stuck. Because 24 hours you can't sit and do pranayama. Isn't it? Vayurodhanat liyate manah jalapakshivat rodha sadhanam. Vayurodhanat manah liyate. When you regulate your breath, mind becomes quiet. But it is like jalapakshivat rodha sadhanam. It is only a means like catching the bird by the net. So what is the condition of a bird caught up in the net? The bird cannot fly. The bird appears to be disciplined, appears to be quiet. But that quietude will exist as long as the net is present. So this net is nothing but pranayama. And this bird is the mind bird. So you may think that now the bird has become very tame and all that. No, it is waiting. The moment the net is removed, bird is gone. Isn't it? So this pranayama also, now in the beginning stages, pranayama helps. That is why in this, what you call short-term courses in meditation, the one thing they emphasize is pranayama. Breathing. Slow breathing. Observe your breath, etc. And the moment you taste some peace, you think that this itself is the path to peace. And that person keeps on doing pranayama, thinking that this is ultimate yoga. Remember, in spirituality, you cannot progress with a narrow mind, with a narrow head. Your head has to develop, your heart has to develop. Your personality has to unfold. Then alone spiritual progress is possible. Mere breathing, anyone can do. Mere breathing will not take you to God. So this ISHTA DEVATÀ UPāSANA will help your heart grow. All those noble emotions, love, compassion, sympathy, humility, they are all called daivi sampat. In the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is called as daivi sampat. Daivi sampat means what? Divine wealth. It is the greatest wealth of this world. We think dollar, rupee, etc. is greatest wealth. No. It is daivi sampat which is the greatest wealth. Why is it called greatest wealth? Because actually everything that happens to you depends upon this wealth. Daivi sampat. In what body you are going to be born is not decided by your worldly wealth. It is decided by daivi sampat, your virtues. Whether it is human body or animal body or insect body or plant body. It is decided by what? Now, do we have a choice to choose the body? No, we are born, isn't it? Packed, sealed and thrown into this world. You have no choice to choose the body. But really speaking, there is something which decides what body you will be born. And this decisive factor is daivi sampat, divine virtues. So if you want to be born in a good family, in a cultured family, in a noble family, with all your body intact, organs strong, brilliant intellect, if you want all these things, then the one wealth which decides everything, because you have to pay. For everything you have to pay. So what is the money which you have to pay? The money is not dollars and rupees, the money is daivi sampat, divine wealth. And there is another wealth also, asuri sampat. So 16th chapter says, Daivasura sampat vibhaga yoga. Both the wealth is clearly pointed out. Anger, greed, jealousy, arrogance, they are all devilish wealth. So you have a choice. Either you can earn divine wealth or devilish wealth. The choice is yours. Through your action, through your behavior, freedom is given. And once you have attained that wealth, then you pay and get. After death, which world you will go, that also will depend upon this wealth only. So therefore, wise people, what they do, they pay more attention to gaining this wealth, this divine wealth, Devi Sampat. They pay all attention in gaining this. And they are the ones who are really wise in this world. Gross wealth will not come with you. Once you are dead, over. Isn't it? It has to go to someone else. But this divine wealth is something which will come along with you. After death also, it will be there with you. There is a very famous Subhashitam which says, after death, your wife can come up to only doorsteps. Your son can come only up to the cremation ground. But there is one thing which comes along with you, and that is dharma. The good things you have done, the bad things you have done, that comes along with you. Meaning the samskāras, that comes along with you. So therefore, pay attention to this. Now, why have we discussed all this? ISHTA DEVATÀ UPāSANA. So when you do ISHTA DEVATÀ UPāSANA, remember, may your heart be rich with divine virtues, noble virtues. Never have this attitude of holier than thou attitude, I am an upasaka, so I am holier than other. Or my Ishta Devata is holier than the other. All these are asuri sampat only. Let us use our upasanas to become a better person, a more loving person, a more humble person. All this, the Ishta Devata can bring all these virtues in us. We can develop these qualities in us. Ishta Devata Upāsana. Is it clear? Is it clear? So what is the first one? Nirguna Nirakara Dhyana. Level number 4. Saguna Nirakara Upāsana or Vishwarupa Ishvara Upāsana. Level number 3. Saguna Sākāra Upāsana or Ishta Devata Upāsana. Now a person says, Bhagavan, even that is difficult for me. Why is that difficult? See, if you want to do this Upāsana, you have to sit in a place, no? I am such a restless person. Sitting in a place, that is the greatest punishment you can give it to me. 5 minutes sitting quiet, it's a torture for me. I am a very restless person. You give me any work, any seva activity I will do. But please don't tell me to sit quietly. And that to applying the mind and all. It's very difficult. My mind is like a drunk monkey bitten by scorpion. This is my condition. So don't give such kind of upasana, etc. I can't do it. So Bhagavan says, don't worry, I will give you another one also. So that we will take tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhave Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi